Your golf ball is the most technologically advanced, or it's not. Your golf ball is either the most consistent, or it's not. It's the most trusted, or it's not. The fact is, it's either Titleist, the best performing golf ball in the world, or it's not. Prove it for yourself. Titleist, the #1 ball in golf. What will you play?
Hello and welcome to episode 123 of The Thing About Golf, Golf Australia magazine's ongoing deep dive into the multitude of reasons that people get hooked on this game. My name's Rod Murray, and joining me on the line to help introduce this episode is the man who did the interview we're going to talk about. I speak, of course, of none other than John Huggan. Huggy, welcome. Let the listeners in on who our guest is on this episode, partly because I'm always afraid of pronouncing his surname when you're around.
Yeah, it's not easy for non-Scottish people to say Gallacher. It seems to be very difficult. Especially our English friends, they introduce a G in the middle of the name somehow. It's very odd. Gallacher it is.
Gallacher it is. Okay, well, we'll let you say it the most times we need to. Intriguing character, Huggy, of course. How's he viewed in Scotland, Stephen? Well, let's back up. Why Stephen Gallacher? Why did you want to pick him to be on the show?
Well, I've known him a long time. I mean, as you've pointed out more than once with these podcasts, we're basically working our way through my phone book.
Yeah,
and Stevie's been in there a long time. He's I think I can say this, certainly without fear of contradiction in Scotland. He's one of the most likable people at his level of the game, if not the most likable. I mean, incredibly nice lad. I mean, he's just so genuine. And he's never changed. He's been that way for, since he was a teenager, and he's still that way now, and he's getting near 50.
Yeah, they're always interesting, those relationships as a writer, isn't it? That you develop with a player when you're both very young and you kind of grow up in the game together, and it's a different kind of relationship.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say I'm the closest to him, but he's just an incredibly friendly chap. I mean, he's got a lovely family. His son caddies for him on tour. He's a nice lad too, and his wife's terrific. He's probably underachieved. I think he would probably admit to that. He's the most beautiful ball striker. I mean, Ernie Ellis, I think it's in the podcast, Ernie Ellis once said to me that one of the top 10 things to do on the European tour was watch Stevie Gallacher hit balls.
Wow.
Which was a big compliment coming from somebody like Ernie. And that's true. But I think his short game, he would admit this, his short game hasn't lived up to his long game. Is most beautiful. As I say, just anytime people listen to this get the chance to see him in the flesh, just on the range, just watch him. It's beautiful to watch. But his short game, relatively, I mean, it's still very good, but it's relative to his competition. I would think he's let himself down a little bit, and that's the reason he hasn't won more often than he has. He's won a few, but and he made the Ryder Cup, which was great to see. That obviously meant a lot to him, given his family history. His Uncle Bernard played umpteen times and was captain 3 times in the Ryder Cup, so it meant a lot to Stevie to play at Gleneagles.
Yeah, indeed. You're talking about beautiful ball striker and wonderful long game. So few players get it all, don't they, Huggy? They don't. Very few get that and the short game. It's just that you're kind of in one or other camp with all the very best players, I think, but very few get all of the shots, the long ones and the short ones.
Just the absolute elite you're talking about. I mean, even Nicklaus. I mean, Trevino always used to joke about Nicklaus's wedge play wasn't up to the rest of them when he's chipping, maybe, but then he didn't miss many greens, so it's kind of disguised. But Tiger might be the most complete player ever. I'm not sure I can think of a weakness in Tiger Woods' game.
Not around that 2000 period, and some of those stretches that he had were just unbelievable. How's he viewed in Scotland, Stevie?
Stevie, I mean, great affection. I mean, he's followed Paul Lawrie into the junior foundation world, and Stevie, he put so much back into golf, and certainly in Scotland. I mean, he's viewed as if people start to think about it, he'd be viewed with great affection. I think that's the word I would use, and he's done well enough to make a point with the establishment, if you like. I think he's just been given an MBE. I think so. He'll be off to the palace and kneel down in front of one of them, the king or whoever it is.
Yeah, however the hell they do that stuff.
Not my thing, but yes, I'm pleased for him.
It would always, and you would have found this with the Nicklaus Award. It's not your kind of thing, but by the same token, you've got to be sort of honoured by the the selection. Do you know what I mean? It would be awkward for him, I'd imagine, in some ways.
Well, I think you'll find that I deserved that.
Yeah,
award.
there's no question you deserved it, Huggy, but you're not the type to fawn over an award. I imagine you felt it was awkward in some ways.
And it is the only award that I've ever been awarded. Put it that way.
Well, we might come up with one for you. Thanks for joining us, Huggy.
Okay, anytime.
Okay, welcome to the latest edition of the Thing About Golf podcast. This is the only guest we've had on so far who took me to a football match once. Stephen Gallacher, what was and is the thing about golf for you?
I think the thing about golf for me is I was born into it with my uncle, and I think I'm blessed enough that I call it a job, but it's not really a job. I get paid to do something I love, really, which doesn't really happen very often. And I think that's what golf's brought me. It's brought me everything. All my friends are through golf, through Bathgate. And
you're saying you're one-dimensional here, right?
I think, well, my football career got cut short, you know what I mean? But no, I think it's just everything. My uncle being Ryder Cup captain, my dad being club champion. It's just everything it's just everything for me, you know. It's all I've ever done.
Now, you say that, but you're a bit of a prodigy. I mean, you look back at your, Wikipedia page, and there's nothing but Stephen Gallacher won this, Stephen Gallacher won that as growing up. I mean, how quickly was it apparent that there was some real talent there?
I think we moved back to Bathgate when I was about 12 from Livingston. I'd had moved a lot around as a kid, different schools, and then when I moved back to Bathgate, that's kind of when it started, going over the golf club, and that's when I chucked the football and just concentrated on it. But as you say, I won the Scottish Boys when I was 16, and then I won the Scottish Amateur when I was 17, the men's. And then I thought to myself, that's me, I'm going to turn pro. But I spoke to my Uncle Bernard, and he says, no, you're not ready. He says, you need to win as much as you can first, play the Walker Cup, and then that's you ready. So that's basically what I did. I tried to win as much as I could.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of the Tiger Woods approach. If you look at his career, I mean, he dominated at each level as he went up. But he didn't jump too far at one go. He waited until he was ready for the next step and went on from there.
That's like any advice I got, was to do that. Yeah. Like Tiger won the junior, American junior one, and then he won the American senior amateur. Like, I think they won them both a couple of times each in consecutive years. So I think I was lucky enough to have Bernard, who'd been there and done it in the family. I just thought, I think I'm ready, but I had to wait another 4 years, to be honest. That was when I was 17 and I turned pro and I was 21.
Was he right?
He was right, 100% right, yeah. I mean, even when I got on, I'd won European amateurs, I'd won, I think I nearly won everything I played. Lytham Trophy, the 95 year. Played Walker Cup. And then I wasn't even ready to be pro then, which I found out 96, 97. Yeah. All of a sudden you're playing with Faldo and Seve and Woozy, these guys that you've just watched on the TV and just watched the Dunhill Cup and stuff like that. And it was a hard sort of transition in my earlier years.
Well, obviously you'd known nothing but success to that point.
Well, I was basically turning up and expected to win, to go into a tournament where now that 100 guys can win. It was a big jump, and I probably I'd do things differently now if I started again.
What would you do different?
I tried to change my game too much. To be prolific as an amateur in Britain, you play links courses all the time. So I hit the ball low, I hit it right to left, and I was a good chip and putter on the ground. And then you start going to these, and I tried to, rather than just stick with that and go with it and see how I went, I thought I need to hit the ball a bit higher and I have to change the way I chip and all that. And it took me, and you probably do it to a certain extent because you only play 2 links courses a year. Yeah. Instead of playing 2 inland courses a year.
You would have done that without even knowing you were doing it. I
probably would have just done it. And I think I tried to do too much too soon. And that's why I kind of stuttered a little bit at the start.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Uncle Bernard, it's a great resource to have. I mean, how much did you lean on him at the...
Yeah, I did a lot, obviously, because, again, he'd been there and done it. By the time I came on tour, I got my card in 95 and he'd just won the Ryder Cup in Oak Hill at his third attempt at trying it, to win abroad over there. So, I think he'd played in 8 already by then and captained 3. So it was...
a handy man.
It was handy. Also, I was working a lot with Bob Torrance at the time, so he was a good counsel for me as well.
Right, yeah.
Obviously, be working with Woozy and Sam and, lots of the tour pros. So Bob kind of knew as well that I wasn't ready, which was good. So I had great people round about me for a long time.
Yeah, you touched on what you lacked there. I mean, what else was missing at that point?
I just think the belief.
Right.
I just think, when...
It's a huge jump, isn't it?
It's a massive jump now. Well, it's not as big now because the kids now are ready straight away.
Yeah.
And I put that down to a lot of things. Equipment. I grew up playing with my dad's John Letter blades with an extra stiff shaft cut down. Nowadays you've got a shaft for every year of your life. But if you're 5'1" and there's the club for you. When you grow a little bit, there's another club for you. So your technique's always better. Just seeing it these days, the young amateur guys coming out of college now are just they're basically professionals.
Yeah. I mean, the old fuddy-duddy that I am, I bang on a wee bit about this, and the game's changed a lot, certainly over the course of your career. I mean, to me, it's a lot more one-dimensional at your level. I mean, you talk about the technique being better, but they're all doing it the same way. It seems to me, or more of them doing it the same way. There's much more conformity than there used to be. Is that fair?
Yeah, I'd say that. Yeah. I'd say the guys coming out now, well, you can train your swing in the gym now. Back in the day, you didn't. The only sort of stuff I got told to do back in the day was swing a heavy club.
Right.
That was Bob's. Yeah. That was Bob's thing.
Yeah.
Because Huggan done it, and then you're only using the right muscles. So I just used to swing the heavy club. I used to cycle a lot just to keep fit and build the legs up. But nowadays the guys come out and, the equipment, you hit the ball a lot straighter these days with the driving's, the art of driving's gone.
Aye.
It used to be a skill. Greg Norman.
Used to be the hardest thing. Now it's
Ian
easy.
Woosnam. But you don't see snap hooks anymore or Healy cuts.
No.
If you hit a poor one, it goes 10 yards less. That's it. Mm-hmm. The drivers are so forgiving. The ball doesn't move much, and people have just learned how to drive it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Back in the day, you're coming down the stretch and you've got a tough hole. You could easily hit a snap. You could easily hit your drive 150 yards.
Yeah.
And, you used to see it a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I was, not to get too much into Bernard, but I kind of think of two more different golfers than you and Bernard, nephew and uncle, but I mean, if you'd put the two of you together, you would have been Tiger Woods.
Well, Bernard's...
he had the best short game just about in the world at one point. And
bunker play,
your ball striking's always been far better than his was, relatively.
He was a great iron player, Bernard. Mm-hmm. I think...
Now, his driving was the weak point.
His driving was his weak point, yeah. Right. And he'll tell you that as well.
Yeah, he did.
And, but again, he played to his strengths. Mm. He knew there was certain weeks he was going to... didn't fit him, and he knew certain weeks he was going to be competing.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what... It used to be like that. Mm-hmm. When I first came out, there certain courses suited you, certain courses didn't. But now, there's not really... That doesn't really work anymore because the game's changed so much because of like you say, the driving of the game. Mm-hmm. It's still, though, you look at Scotty Scheffler, he still moves it both ways. Mm-hmm. I think the top guys can always move the ball, but it just moves less now.
Yeah. Well, you've got to try and snap hook it to draw it.
Exactly. But, you look at Scheffler and you look at his balance, his footwork and all that. Back in the day, he'd have got laughed at. You have to change that. Where now, there was something online the other day, I think one of the guys put on Twitter or whatnot. Can you name these 5 golfers, 6 golfers? And they were all different positions, but they were all pictures of Scotty Scheffler.
Right.
Because if you watch him hit a shot, he'll hit one like Lee Trevino, and he'll hit one like Arnold Palmer, then he'll hit one like Seve, where his right shoulder's over.
Right, yeah.
And it's just great to watch him manoeuvre the ball still, because that's the way I got brought up, was because obviously the ball moved a lot more.
Yeah.
So I find it hard to hit it straight, because I still see shapes, where the new guys now just stand up and just hit it dead straight. They don't know what a cut or a hook is.
Is all of that better? Or just different?
It's just different. It's just evolution.
I mean, I find it less interesting to watch. I mean, I've told you this before, I think, but Ernie Els once told me that one of the top 10 things to do on the European Tour was watch you hit golf balls, which is a big compliment.
That's a big compliment. I used to play with him quite a bit.
But you're not getting the advantage from that, I don't think, now that you used to. Is that fair?
I was always high up the greens in regulation. So I think if you do that, you're obviously hitting the middle of the club face more often.
Yeah.
It's a different game now. It's definitely a different game now. There's more people out there that can win week on week.
See, I mean, again, I hold my hand up to being the old fuddy-duddy, but I find it less interesting to watch at your level than I used to. And I use this line a lot, and nobody's playing like Seve or Lee Trevino, so how can it be better?
I agree. Well, yeah. I don't see it as being better or worse. I just see it as being different.
Right.
I obviously grew up watching these guys, Seve and car parks, and you don't even need to go back that far. You go back to when Chippy won the Open at 99. Look what happened there with nerves and slightly, Balata balls, smaller heads.
This is Van de Velde you're talking about.
Yeah, but that was a 10-shot lead. You very, very rarely see things like that. But all that is a wee bit of nerves, a bit of, Chippy's 3 at the last, unbelievable. Driving a 4-iron, to 6 foot is just phenomenal. But that's just handled the nerves. He says he was shaking like mad.
I'll bet he was, yeah.
But that's the practice you put into to get in those situations. But you don't see, you like we were saying, you don't see the quick hooks anymore, or the Healy ones, or anything like that.
The necky cut, yes.
No, but the necky cut was a weapon you could use if you were under pressure.
That's true, yeah.
You can't really hit that anymore. You don't.
No.
You don't see a fairway finder anymore. It's just that you either hit your 3-wood now, or you've got the driving irons that go 260 yards. So back in the day, you'd have had to try and just hit a little chop cut onto the fairway.
I know, yeah. How have you had to adapt then? I mean, mentally at least.
I think I find it. Well, I'm obviously 50 this year, so it's tougher now. I'm probably not as good at my wedges. That's what I'm trying to address just now. I still hit the ball as well. I still drive it good. It's just I'm not getting my wedges close enough, and I think the short game suffers a little bit because of that. I'm short-siding myself, and the chances of getting up and downs, 1 out of 5. So
plus you're kind of emerging. As you say, you're 50 at the end of this year. You're kind of emerging from what I call the 5-year black hole in professional golf, which is the mid-40s to 50, which is very difficult to stay competitive at which you've managed to an extent at the European Tour level. But you're not quite, obviously old enough to be a senior yet. So there's a hole there that you've got to fill somehow.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've been aware of that.
Well, it is tough. I'm good mates with Jamie Donaldson, and, I eat dinner with him and Scott Jamieson, James Morrison, these guys at night. Mark Warren, we're all sort of getting that area. Well, certainly JD, and we talk about what anti-inflammatories we all use, just in case there's a new one, naproxen or Celebrex or something like that. That's what we talk about. But it's tough you've got to stay fit now. You've got to do a lot more than what you used to do. Mm-hmm. I'm getting a gym. I've got a gym in my garage. My nephew's a personal trainer. I'm 4 times a week with him, just trying to stay level, just trying to offset age.
Yeah.
But like you say, you don't want to think too much about the seniors, but it's probably just a natural progression, and that's why golf's magic, though, because you've still got something after your the main tour.
Yeah.
I played 650 odd events. I'm going to go to America at the end of the year and try and get my card for the Champions Tour,
which is not easy because
I've got to pre-qualify. I've got to pre-qualify to get into the final stage, and then you've got to finish top. I think it's 4.
You get
spots.
No benefit from anything Ryder Cup player.
Nothing.
That. Yeah.
Because I never played in America, I don't think you get anything. Yeah. And I think the Ryder Cup gets you into the majors your first year. Maybe I think the USPGA and the British seniors. You get into that, but it's a tough school. It is a tough school trying to get in America. And I spoke to Des Smith a couple of weeks back there at a Pro-Am, and he says you've got to go as early as you can. As young as you can be old.
Yes.
You want to be I'm going to be a rookie again.
Well, there's a window of opportunity historically. Unless you're Bernhard Langer.
I've watched Padraig Harrington, and Padraig's a good friend of mine, and played Walker Cup with him, and I've just speaking to him and Ronan, his caddy, he said if you've still got length, it's a huge advantage in certain courses.
Yeah.
So I still hit it up 300 yards and stuff like that. So if I can maintain that, but the whole thing is you've just got to get on the tour again. You've just got to try and get through that tour school.
That'll be the hardest thing.
Well, I've seen so many guys try and not get through, and then the guys like Thomas Bjorn. He's doing well now over there, but he's still not getting in every week. He's still got to pre-qualify or get an invite or stuff like that. But then you see the guys that have done it, Paul Broadhurst, Darren Clark.
I've talked about him before on these podcasts, and Broadhurst was a great example.
Well, see that 5-year window you're talking about.
Because he played in everything. Local alliances, he just kept playing.
Played in these golf clubs medals.
Aye.
With the members.
Yeah.
Just to keep playing, to try and keep fit. Gary Orr was similar.
Yeah, if you stop, it's difficult.
Well, I think if you stop, you lose a bit of the muscle memory. You lose a bit. I think COVID knackered me up a little bit, to be honest, not playing at my age. You couldn't go on the golf course for 5 months. I lost a little bit of clubhead speed and stuff like that. And you don't realise till you sit down and try to evaluate how I can keep going. And I think my clubhead speed's decent enough now. My ball speed's decent enough. It's just a case of I need to get my accuracy levels back up, because, as Podrick said as well, these guys are good. These senior boys are amazing. Get Steve Stricker still, 60-year-old, still playing brilliantly. Bernard Langer, 66-year-old, finished fourth again the other week. Just had an operation and he's
the real outlier, though. I mean, he's not the typical. That's not the norm.
No, I think, like you're saying, I've got to try and get on as young as I can. It works out perfect for me this year. I'll finish my European tour. Obviously, I'd love to keep my card and have a free hit at it.
Yeah.
But I'm 50 1st of November, and then the tour school starts in December. So, actually, the pre-qualifying starts in late November. So my plan will be, there's a couple of Stacia events. There's one in La Manga, 2 weeks, a week after my birthday, and then there's one in Mexico. So I've even got an option of, do I play in those just to keep fit, just to keep match fit before I go? So I probably will. I probably will do that. I finish the main tour, the end of October. I'd love to be able to still be going back there next year. If not, I've got a different pathway.
You must have come to a point where America was at least a thought in your head, but you never went. I mean, why not would be the obvious question.
Well, I never really had...
Because you'd be good enough.
I never really had I was on the periphery a couple of times. 2004 when I won the Dunhill, I had a chance to get right through at the end of tour school and go over there. But my kids were just starting school. And 2005, Jack was just going into... He was in primary one. And it was going to be a big... if I got my card, it would have been up sticks and, move over there. And then 2013-14, when my world ranking and that was at its best, I was in the top 50. I would just use it as what other guys used, play before a WGC or play before the Open or play before the Masters, and just sort of play a few events. And I got close to keeping my card in, but didn't quite get over the line again. So, and again, that was at the time when my kids were sitting their exams now. So it was just, it didn't really fall in the right time for me to give it a go.
People forget that you've got a life.
Other
than golf.
And going to America wasn't really high on my priority list. It wasn't a goal or an objective of mine.
Difficult to get to the Celtic games every week, wouldn't it?
Well, exactly. So there you go. Yeah, that's fun. I'd had to give my season ticket up. I can't be having that. But there was a lot of things. Close knit family as well, and having a couple of young kids to uproot them over there would have been. I probably didn't fancy it, to be honest, because I didn't really chase it. Yeah.
Well, I speak as somebody who lived over there for 8 years and had kids born there, and I mean, I did the opposite. I came back when they got to school age, so it's either you take to living over there or you don't. I mean, there's no right and wrong, or good or bad, but it's just some people like it, some people don't.
Yeah, I've seen Bob McIntyre this year. He's decided to sort of take a house and just stay over there. It was going okay for him to the start, but then when he's won now, that's a great move he's done. He just said, you know what, I'm going over there and I'm going to give it a good shot. But he had the opportunity to do it.
Yeah, what do you think of that?
I think it's brilliant.
The 10 card thing, I mean, it's been quite controversial in certain areas. I mean, what's the kind of, what do you feel about it, and what's the kind of general feeling on the tour?
Well, I mean, I was on the committee that decided it.
Right.
And I think the opportunity is great. Well, you think of the deal. It's not. There's a big pictures here. You know, America's underwriting our official prize money till 27. If we don't bring it in, they'll honour the money, and it's going up every year. So they get a couple of spots there, 125 to 1. They get a few spots in the end of the field, and then we've got the 10 spots here now, which Pavon's won, Bob's won. Mm-hmm. There's other guys up there. Balamaki, Ryan Fox, Thomas Dietrich. There's cases for you losing guys. We lose our best 10 players. Mm-hmm. But if they want to still play Ryder Cups and whatnot, they need to still be members, so they still come back.
You mentioned how well they've done, and that'll have surprised some people, because it's always been the narrative has been, it's so much better in America. The standard of play is so much better than it is in the European Tour. Well, really? When you see what, Pavon was journeyman's a terrible word, but he was a better player than that. But he wasn't winning tournaments regularly in Europe, and suddenly he goes to America and wins right away. There's other examples like you just said. I think the standard of play in Europe is closer to America than a lot of people think.
I don't think there's any gap at all. I think
there's just more of them.
It just gets proven at Ryder Cup level.
Yeah.
I just think, but I think there is a little void we live. There's certain guys went, and they do make maybe the fields a bit weaker, probably with a lot of the guys that have went over.
Yeah.
The 10 guys going to America, you've touched on it there. Are they 10 guys going to make the fields any weaker, or are they going to make it stronger?
And they're not all going to make it. 2 or 3 of them will come back every year.
And that's why there's a safety net for them to go have a go and come back, and they give it a shot. And I just think it's great as well for our membership. Now you've got a chance to get over there, because it was tough when there's no tour school or no, you had to go through the Corn Ferry to get in.
Yeah.
But now the opportunity is amazing for these young kids, and they come out and they only need to look at Bob and Pavon and Ryan Fox and all these guys that have got their card through the top 10 and kept it already. Even halfway through the season.
Yeah.
And there's probably 5 or 6 of them kept their card.
Yeah.
And what it does for us as well is it gives us the next crop of the next 10 young guys coming through.
I tell you what surprised me a little bit, and maybe this will start up when people kind of get used to the idea, but if I was a young American and it was really good, but not quite one of the superstars coming out of college, I'd be thinking to myself, I tell you what, I quite fancy a year on the European Tour. I think I can get one of those 10 cards playing in Europe. So I'm going to go over there, and the worst thing that happens is that I'm in Europe for another year,
Well, that's happening already.
It's the quickest route back to America for the PGA Tour, I would have thought.
I think a lot of guys are doing that.
Yeah.
And it used to happen all the time anyway with the guys coming for Australia. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It used to always happen. They used to come play a year in the European Tour, and, Allenby, Appleby, all these guys, Adam Scott.
Yeah.
It was a great pathway.
Greg Norman started.
Greg Norman. You mean Vijay Singh.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys that do use Europe as a sort of to try and get to America. Well, that was never part of that was not my thing. Mm-hmm. But you can see, but then there was a 20-year window there where it was tough to get there.
Yeah.
It was really tough to get on the tour. You had to be top 50 in the world and then finish second in a major or something like that to get an option to get on.
It's long gone now, but it was very insular for a long time. I mean, I make the point sometimes that you look at the people who've won majors, and only for the last maybe 40 years has that been a fair reflection as to who's the best players. And I always bang on about this as well. I mean, that you look at Mark James, Howard Clark, Ken Brown, Sam Torrance, that kind of era. They were half a step down from Woosnam, Faldo, Lyle. Mm-hmm. They never really got to play in majors.
No, I remember asking Sam.
And they should have.
How many Masters they played? I think he played 2 Masters or something.
Ridiculous.
And my uncle played 1.
Yeah, and you're not going to tell me that, like I said, Bob Tway, Jeff Sluman, Larry Mize were better players than them. No, they weren't. They just got more opportunity.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was back then. You only had like you say, you had your Sevies and Woozy, Elazabal, Sandy Lyle, guys like that. But the ones, they were equally as good. But opportunity was tough. I mean, it's so hard. It's hard to get in the Open.
Yeah.
You've got to be in top 50 in the world. I'm going to go to Dundonald in 3 weeks' time to try and qualify. I've never played Royal Troon. Can you believe that?
You've never played it?
My wife's family lived in Troon for 20 years, and I've never played it. Her sister still stays there, and I've still never played it.
I'm amazed by that. Yeah.
So I'm going to go and give it a chance. in a couple of weeks.
Oh,
See how I got on. No, not a thing. The only thing is it's 2 rounds in one day, which is maybe a bit challenging. That's the only thing I'm worried about. And it's in between. It's in between sort of it's the Tuesday, the BMW in Munich, but I've played that tournament that many times. It means your preparation's a bit poor, but you get there on the Wednesday afternoon, no practice round, but the lure of the Open, I think, outweighs, a little preparation here or there.
We're kind of doing this a wee bit out of order, but I looked at your record in majors. Now, for somebody that's as good as you were or are, pathetic. I hate to be harsh, but you only played in 20 and you missed the cut in 13 of them. I need an explanation for this. Come on.
I don't know, probably tried too hard.
Because that's ridiculous.
I've tried too hard. You know what? It would have been. Yeah. You'd probably just a little bit out your comfort zone and try too hard. I bet you the ones I've done well in were at the links.
Best ever was tied 15th at Hoylake 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. And I actually should have been better at that as well. I played a lot better there. You played good at Muirfield, played all right at St Andrews. A couple of them maybe was amateurs as well. But yeah, I think it must have been just the mindset.
Because I was surprised when I looked at it.
Yeah, but the mindset, a lot of them in America with the tough courses at, Valhalla and stuff like that, where a little bit. I think the ones in America, it just boils down to short game.
Right.
Just a different short game probably wasn't.
You definitely see the short shots differently.
I think the short game for me is the one that probably stopped me doing well in those ones, where you get to the links courses and I just see it a lot better. Yeah. If I had a chance, if you said to me, you're playing in 20 majors, 7 of them or 8 of them at the links courses, I'd say I fancy them more than the other ones. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You get US Opens with thick rough and.
Aye. Well, not this week. But
well, I played Pinehurst when Michael Campbell won, and it was knee-high rough.
Yeah, that wasn't how the course was supposed to be.
And then I went back when Kamer won, and it was just such a good golf course to play. Yeah. Back to the scrubland, and you've more options. I must admit, I like it when you've got a thick rough. For me, it's just a lottery. It's just a gouge out, and you've got to be a good putter. Where I think if you can almost hit any club in the bag sometimes. If at Pinehurst, you could use a rescue, a putter, a 5-iron, or a sand wedge, or whatever.
It brings in the ambitious or risky recovery shot, which then brings in different numbers, possibly.
Well, that's
all the way
from
birdies to triples.
I think that's why you want to. I like watching that.
Me too.
Because I just love the imagination, and that's when the sort of artist and the golfer comes out. What Seve was brilliant. Mickelson was awesome to watch doing it. Tiger, brilliant at it. You go back and these guys were proper artists. These guys were visually, they could see stuff, even watching John Daly.
Yeah. Well, I hate to tell you this, but you're starting to sound a wee bit like me here. Be careful about that,
No, I just think, I think the thick rough every now and then's all right. Mm-hmm. It's got its place. It's got its place, but I'm not a fan of it. Mm-hmm. I think you can be more creative. I think the best courses we play are when you get the greens firm, and there's just enough rough to make you think
it might be a flyer.
Is this going to jump or not? And if it is, where's the bit? You're actually standing over a shot saying, right, where am I better to leave this? Because there's no danger of me holding the green. Yeah. So short better than long, right better than left. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You get your 4 and you walk onto the next tee. They're brilliant.
It's all part of the game, or should be.
Yeah, but the thing with that is, though, being in Europe and you need weather. You need to you need to get the weather right. Mm-hmm. If it's going to be a dry spell, the greens are firm. What a difference! The golf course plays so much better, than the gouge it out the rock. But I'd think that's why my performances in that weren't good. You have to have a good short game to play the majors, or you've no chance.
And you'd be inexperienced, as you say, with 3 of them in America.
It's probably a little bit out of your comfort zone, a wee bit trying too hard, and not as good a short game as the guy. I'd say that's the biggest difference. When I used to play with guys over there, and you come back here, they are better putters and better chippers, really. Yeah. I think maybe living in Scotland would that made a little bit of a difference. I don't think it helps in the winter. Mm-hmm. You know, you used to have a big gap as well. You had an off-season back then where you don't really have one now.
Yeah.
But I think definitely when you play with the guys that are used to it over there, they putt and chip so much better.
Titleist is the #1 ball in golf. Yes, being #1 is a number, and more players trust the Pro V1 or Pro V1X than all other golf balls combined. But being #1 is more than a number. It's a mindset. It's a relentless mission to design and manufacture the best performing golf balls in the game, so you can chase whatever your #1 is. Titleist, the #1 ball in golf.
On a related note, you've won a few tournaments, a couple of big ones as well, but not that often, or as often as I would have thought somebody at your talent level would have done. I mean, where do you think you relate relative to par, if, you know, in terms of how many times you've won?
Probably about level, I think. I've been beat a couple of times in playoffs.
Yeah.
Took me 8 years to get my first one, and I think then 9 years after that to get the second one. But it wasn't through the lack of trying. I had a lot of top tens and a lot. I think it is hard to win. I won on Challenge Tour and got beat a couple of playoffs on that as well. So it's definitely hard to win. But probably down to the short game again. If I had a better short game.
I was just going to say, the strength of your game was the long game, and that gets you into contention. But then the short game is what actually wins it for you at the end.
Oh, 100%.
And that's maybe why you've got a whole host of top tens, but not as many wins as you might have thought.
I think it just comes down to that.
Yeah.
It was nothing to do with nerves or anything or whatnot. Because you've been in that sort of environment for a long time. It's just getting over the line. It's just, like you say, it is the short game. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what it is. I had a couple of years where my putting stats were good and my chipping my up and downs were good. And then, you win a couple of times, you get beaten a couple of playoffs, or you finish second. And that's it. Mm-hmm. That's a fine margin.
Yeah.
And I think if I had a little slightly better short game, I'd maybe hold a few more putts, you probably would get to the double figures. You probably would have looked at winning that. I've had a lot of chances and just not finished it out.
Yeah.
Especially in 28 years.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. I hate to keep banging on it, but listen, I'm not blowing smoke up your backside for the sake of it. But to me, the double that many wins would be about par at your talent level.
I think, it is tough, isn't it? There's certain guys go throughout their whole career not winning.
Aye.
And but you get the guys that just seem to win prolific.
It's not a criticism.
No, I know. Listen, I've obviously looked into this myself and thought, how can I improve? Mm-hmm. And it's just down to, that's what I'm doing just now. I'm working pretty much everything I do now is just short game and wedges.
Mm-hmm. We've gone out of order a little bit, but I want to take you back to the amateur stuff. You got an early taste of Tiger Woods at Walker Cup level, and you played against him in the foursomes at Porthcawl in '95. What was your impression then of what he was going to be or what he was going to become? Can you remember? I mean, it's a long time ago.
Yeah, no, I remember. Obviously, he came with a big, huge persona. He was the next big thing.
Yeah.
He was, and he had that at that level.
Yeah,
they had the media walking around. He came like this whirlwind. Came in just a little scrawny, thin young kid from America. He's, I think he was 19.
He would be pretty young, yeah.
And he was raw. Mm-hmm. You could see he hit a couple of shots and you just went, oh my goodness, I've not got that in the locker. That's different. Mm-hmm. Like he hit a couple of 3-woods and he hit a couple of brilliant shots, but then he would fly a green by 30 yards.
Yeah.
He didn't know what a flyer was. He couldn't really control his ball in the wind as much as, you thought he could.
Yeah.
But he had something that he hit it so far for such a small kid. Mm-hmm. And obviously his putting was outstanding. That's the bit I knew he was putting and chipping was phenomenal. Mm-hmm. But he just looked raw, really raw with his shot at irons, and he'd hit the odd bad shot and terrible shot.
Yeah.
And then he just went on to be the best in my generation.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Maybe even the best ever.
Well, I mean, my view is that his best golf is maybe the best we've ever seen. He's not Nicklaus has got more majors and has to be, given credit for that, but I don't think Nicklaus's best golf was quite as good as Tiger's.
No. Obviously different eras, but Tiger, some of his rounds and some of the shots he's hit.
Well, the Pebble Beach US Open that he won, I mean, it was just ridiculous.
Well up the field.
Aye. Yeah.
It's just golf like you've never seen before. Mm-hmm. And he's 96 Masters when he
97
when he went out and 40 or something.
That's right, 40-30.
And then
Wimbledon.
And then he again lapped the field. They had so much so that they're still Tiger proof in Augusta.
Aye.
They had to Tiger proof a golf course. When do you ever hear of that?
Yeah. Well, they went about it the wrong way as well.
Well, I think but obviously it didn't make much of a difference because he still won it after it. But yeah, Tiger had this. We didn't really see him play much. It was more of a sort of, you heard about him. Everybody was talking about him at the time, but you never really knew much about him. Yeah. And then I played with him a couple of times after that as well. And he's a great guy. He was brilliant to play with on the golf course. He's just had such a life that you wouldn't really have wanted on yourself. I've seen it up close.
Yeah,
probably the most famous. He would probably be one of the most famous sports players in the world. At a stage where he couldn't literally go out the house.
Well, he was the most famous sportsman on the planet for a time. I mean, I don't think a golfer has ever been that before, and it'll be a long time before another golfer is more famous than anybody else in any other sport.
100%.
Yeah, it's never going to happen, I don't think.
Andy was not shy to be on the front page and the back page of the papers.
Well, that you touched that. I mean, it was such a strange life. It's maybe not that surprising that he went off the rails a bit.
I mean, the minute he wakes up to the minute he goes to his bed, there's people wanting a piece of him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If he's not getting stopped for a picture or an autograph or a podcast or something, there's somebody wanting a piece of him at all costs. And you seen him up close in Dubai. He would just literally come off the last green, straight through the clubhouse, straight into his car and away. Mm-hmm. It was. You would never see him kicking about the players' lounge much, or sitting out at dinner. You just basically seen him at the golf course and never seen him again.
Yeah, yeah.
He was eating in his hotel. He's probably a lonely. Like you say, probably it wouldn't be one I would want. Having been the best in the world has its pitfalls as well.
Well, I mean, you've had people like Nick Price being the classic example who got there and didn't like it. Rebelled against it and go back from it.
I know. It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody at all.
Not at all.
But he's still the biggest thing in golf. Mm-hmm. There's nobody bigger than him. You go to a tournament, he's playing. Even the media hype, is he going to play or not? It's huge. And you see him in an event, and it's the media's 10 times bigger. The TV. I remember the first time he came back to the Masters, and Golf Channel in America. Every single shot he hit in practice round, on the range, on the course, was live. Every single shot.
Yeah. Well, I remember being in New Zealand when he came to New Zealand, played New Zealand Open in 2002, I think it was, and his arrival was live on national television. Just this plane going down and him walking off the plane was live.
Brilliant, isn't it?
Crazy.
He put golf on the map. He's made us. This is what we're playing for big money for now.
Aye, definitely.
It's all Tiger. Before that, it was Arnold Palmer. Everything that we're playing for now, the 20 million events, the whatever, this is all Tiger. It was 100% all him. Yeah. And now he's sort of taking a little bit interest in it now.
Yeah.
He's on boards and he's giving back and looks like he could be the next Ryder Cup captain.
Yeah, I think he will.
I think he will. And it's a shame what happened to him physically in the end. But
I find
it's a shame watching him now. I find it hard as well.
Yeah.
As a fan, I'm almost a fan of it. Well, a fan of what he became.
Yeah.
I don't think many guys like where I've played, and you still love watching Tiger playing, even now. But I'm finding it really hard. His body language is different. His mannerisms. He's hitting shots he didn't want to hit. He doesn't hit. He's missing cuts. It's a tough one. You think
it's like
to yourself,
Seve
was exactly the same. I
remember.
remember.
Seve. But there was one, Jeff Ogilvy's been on this podcast and he talks about he loved Seve. I'm sure that was the same.
I loved Seve.
But even towards the end, he said he'd play with Seve and he'd be all over the place, but he would hit 2 shots where you would just go, wow.
And I think that was the 2 shots so that kept him practicing.
Yeah.
I played with him in Qatar once, and he walked in after 9 holes, and he was apologetic. You know, he was terrible. Right. And he walked in, he just said, "Listen, I've had enough. My wrist's sore." Yeah. You know, and you felt it was just like a shell of a person. And and the thing is, it's hard mentally. You think about what they've done and some of the shots they've hit. I still remember. I think one of the best, most gutsy performance I've ever seen was Seve, the 95 Oak Hill. Mm-hmm. He didn't really want against Tom Lehman, who was phenomenal. Yeah. Not to get beat. I don't know how Tom's mental strength.
I walked with him. I mean, it was the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
He was missing fairways by 2 holes, and then had a putt for the win.
I know. Yeah.
And it's just, but there's nothing worse than seeing something like that. You've probably seen George Best at Hibs when he was on the demise as well, and you think, but he'd maybe make one turn and he'd go.
But he was still 10 seconds ahead of everybody else in the team. You know,
it's the same with snooker players. There's a natural sort of cull almost. Mm-hmm. You know,
Well, Stephen Hendry would be, 7-time world champion from Scotland. I mean, he'd be a classic example of that. I mean, he's nowhere near that level now. You know,
and I think what happens there, the eyes go a wee bit. You can't play the shots you normally want to play. It's slightly the same with myself. You know, you go through a little bad spell, and you go, "I've never hit a shot like that before in my life. Where did that come from?" You know, but you still think in your head that you can play these shots. But I think you've maybe now got to have a wee bit more realistic expectations. I get to the stage now, if I play well and putt well, I'll make the cut, no bother. But if I don't putt well or chip well, I can't. It's almost impossible. Yeah, doesn't matter how well I play. Mm-hmm. Where before you could get away with that and hit more. You know, I don't hit my wedges as close as I do now, but I'm practicing like mad. I've still got the desire and I've still got. I want to play well. I don't want to. If I got to the stage where I couldn't hit shots, I'd chuck it.
Well, you've always been able to do that without thinking.
I know, but the thing is now you start thinking it. Yeah. You're playing with these young guys that are where you used to be 25 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I'm not bitter about it at all. I don't find it. I love playing with these young kids that play well. Mm-hmm. I play with them every week, young boys, some guys you never heard of. And then you go, wow, he's impressed me today. You know, I've had that a couple of times. I've played with people. I played with Marcus Armitage last week in Belgium, and I thought his ball striking was phenomenal. I'd never played with him really, and you find, and you know, he didn't have what he wanted, but I thought, wow, you're a really good player, mate. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You don't judge somebody on one round, do you? I mean,
no, but just the sound. Yeah. You know, the sound. You can tell with the sound of his strike that it's proper flushed. You know, there's a couple of guys on tour that are just. I've got that. I've got that sound.
Sergio was always like that.
Sergio could.
The noise has made.
One of the best strikers of the balls I've ever played with, Sergio. Yeah. He was phenomenal at that. And the sound he used to make hitting a 3-wood off the deck, you know, was he used to take a divot after his 3-wood, which was, you know, you had to control that is awesome. But nowadays, you know, I don't even think there's you need to flush it as good. Back in the day, you almost had to strike it well. But you play with some guys and you think, that was a little bit, that sounded weird, that one. You know, this doesn't sound right. We're back with the old equipment. You know, you play with Howard Clark or like the guys you've said, Mark James, Sam Torrance. It was a proper, even Eamon Darcy's flushed it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, you look at his swing, it was a bit unique, but what a strike. Mm-hmm. Where nowadays, it's not as important, believe it or not.
Why do you think that is?
I just think technology. I just think back in the day, you had to proper strike it to get it airborne. You had to really flush it with a blade and a ballata ball. You know what it's like to get those ballatas up in the air. Right. Was tough. Mm-hmm. So you had to rip it. Woozy he still rips it just now.
Mm-hmm. Well, he moans about because he was one of the best drivers in the world, in the top 2 or 3 in the world with a wooden driver.
There was him and Greg Norman.
And Nick Price, maybe.
And Nick Price. But even Nick Price was flat flight.
Right.
But like Tiger was when he first came out, just really low and you get a bit of run. Where Norman and Woozy used to flight it.
That's right.
I remember asking him about his one at Augusta. He carried the bunker up the left. He looked at it, and him and Wobbly was talking away to him, and he says, I looked at that, and if I hit a good one, I could fly that bunker, and there was just an expanse of short grass. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they went down and took a yardage from it. So he was actually trying to hit it down there. Now, there was guys not even getting in that bunker.
Yeah.
And he's flew it.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's uphill. Mm-hmm. Obviously a bit shorter than it was then, but you've got to hit a proper high draw almost to get it over that. Yeah. The shape Woozy hit. So he didn't even try and cut it round the corner. He just says, I'm going to hit a high draw over that. Now, and I remember watching Greg Norman as well when he won the Open. Was it down in Turnberry?
Turnberry, 86, yeah.
Some of the driving he put in there was phenomenal. Mm.
Yeah, that's one of the things I criticise is that the average driver at your level on tour now is so much closer to the best driver.
Well, but we had the big thing with R&A there about moving the ball back. Mm. Now, I don't really agree with it because I think I'd rather make the driver head smaller and make driving I agree something's got to change.
Yeah. There's different ways of doing it.
And I think the
ball's
ball
just the easiest way.
It is the easiest way, but I think you make the driver smaller and make it an art again. Mm-hmm. Would be higher up my list than change the ball.
Yeah.
But changing the ball's a start. I think it's going to happen. It's
scratching the surface, I think.
I think it's nothing new. I tried it. I went up to see Castle Stewart with Mike. Mike Stewart, and we went up to Castle Stewart to have a look at it before they took the golf day up. Before they took the Scottish Open there,
right? And
he had a ball then, a prototype ball that went 10% less, and I played 9 holes with it. Felt the same, flew the same, looked the same, putted the same. Just went 10% less. Yeah. So this was probably 2011 or something like that. So it's not a knee-jerk reaction.
No.
This is something that's been in the pipeline for years.
Yeah.
It's just, is it the number one focus to make golf a bit skillful again?
You've touched on this a couple of times. I mean, I worry more or as much about it not going sideways enough. Because the game's at your level especially, it's lost a bit of its art. It's just not some of its charm. I mean, it's a test of you hit the same shot up time after time after time. Well, I get that you need a talent level to do that, but I mean, geez, I don't want to watch it all the time. I'd rather watch Lee Trevino hitting.
But I think whatever. It's not just as much as that though. It's the courses that are becoming, like we've talked about tiger proof, and what do you do at St Andrews? You can't really. We've extended that as far back as we can. We're over the road at 7. We're in the driving range at 17.
It's off the course.
It's off the course, and
second tee's out of bounds as well.
It's on a different. Yeah. It's on the different course. It's on the Jubilee.
Yeah.
Or the new.
It's actually on the Himalayas.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But I think it's more the courses. You want to see. Well, I mean, my favourite course is Royal Melbourne. Carnoustie, St Andrews.
Well, they're the biggest victims. Golf courses.
Well, the golf courses are. I mean, you're panicking that somebody could shoot 50 something round St Andrews. Mm-hmm. Do you want that? I don't really. It doesn't matter for me.
I don't worry about low scores. It's how they're compiled that annoys me. It's how you do it. If somebody shoots a really low score, well, good luck to you. But I don't want to watch the modern game produce that.
Well, St Andrews realistically could have 4 or 5 holes. You drive it, you knock it on.
Oh, easily for you guys, yeah. I mean, you'd be driving the first if it wasn't for the burn.
I know. Well, you would be actually.
Aye.
350.
Yeah.
Some of the guys out there now. Yeah. But do you want to see that? Do you want to see guys knock on the 3rd, the 7th, the 9th, 10th, 12th?
I mean, the classic example is the last hole at the Old Course. I mean, it used to be that the relationship between where you hit your drive, but the relationship with that and the volley sin and the pin was what made the hole so fascinating. Now it's just a long par 3 for you.
Well, and not just that though. Jack Nicklaus hit a 3-wood through the back.
Well, he hit it down a gale. But
it doesn't matter. He's hit 3-wood through the back.
Yeah.
So it's not... It's not a new thing either.
No. But it was the exception back then.
It was the exception. The greens were a lot slower. They were, everything's improved.
Yeah.
Agronomy's, the courses we play are immaculate now.
Yeah.
Technology, the guys are fitter, they're better. I think, though, we're not just the only sport where things like this happen. Formula One, tennis changed the ball, made it go slower. Football's bringing in all these rules, so that it's just natural that you want to try and preserve the game. You want to try and just get it, like it's running a wee bit out on its own just now. You want to rein it in a little bit, I think. And all the top guys are wanting the ball back. Tiger, Rory, Jack Nicklaus, all these guys. So they've obviously seen that there's something awry here as well, where I just think, bring the skill back to the driver. It would be my thing.
Well, I would, yeah.
But that got a straight no. That got a straight no.
Did it? Yeah.
That was the one that, believe it or not, I think the manufacturers pushed back more on that.
Yeah. But I don't have a problem with what they call bifurcation. But you playing the game you play and the game I play, not even closely related anymore. I mean, and if they've done that, they've created bifurcation by doing nothing, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it is a totally different game.
Yeah. I mean, there's no relation to... I mean, I played occasional game with Jeff Ogilvie. He had to have to hit a 6-iron off the tee to play with me. To have a game. He would,
You're not that bad, are you?
Well, yeah, I am. But that's another story.
Mine, Jeff's good as well.
Aye, that's true. Yeah, there's a slight different talent level there. But that's where we're at,
But I just think, though, it's came to a natural point in cycles. Everything's in cycles. They changed the square groove thing, which was a shocker at the time. I grew up playing with that. Even Podrick says he reckons it's cost him a couple of shots around the short game. So there's always lots of things have changed the game. And I think this is just the next cycle of trying. I think it's now about making sure the golf courses are, the old golf, let's go back to Sunningdale.
Can you go there?
Look at Wentworth. Look how much they've had to change Wentworth to make it. Yeah. And even now it takes you 5.5 hours because you're waiting at par fives now that you never used to be able to get up in two.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, I'm going to move you along a wee bit. Where we're 50 minutes in already, my goodness. LIV Golf, PIF, PGA Tour, European Tour, Asian Tour. What's going on? How do you see it? And what would you like to see the end result be?
I think the end result, I'd love to see us all being unified under the one banner. I don't particularly like the certain factions here and there that are. I think it's dragged golf sort of through the mud a little bit and gave us a bad reputation. Not what you want when you're wanting kids to try and participate in it. Has it been bad for the game? Probably a little bit.
It's bad for the image. I mean,
it's bad for the image.
It's sort of the top. A lot of the top guys have revealed themselves as
do I blame anybody for going to LIV? No.
Would you have done it? Do you think?
I'd have thought about it. Yeah. Absolutely. When I look at somebody like Richard Bland, who was a good mate of mine, and he's flying. It's gave him a extra lease of life. Do I like the fact that he didn't get allowed to play in the PGA or sort of the seniors? He ended up winning it, but things like Lee Westwood not being able to play in the Senior Open. Come on.
Well, that's a particularly bugbear of mine. I mean, how can it be the Open and call itself an Open if it's not open?
And I don't agree with guys. They knew the pitfalls at the time. There was obviously you had on one hand you had lots of money. On the other hand, there was stuff that you had to give up. Stenson not being Ryder Cup captain, Poulter and Westwood would have been a Ryder Cup captain. McDowell maybe have been Ryder Cup captain as well. Hamer might have been. Sergio.
Definitely. Yeah.
And you look at Luke Donald, would he maybe have been one?
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Because that procession that you just...
But you look how well Luke Donald's done. He's done that well that he's been asked back again.
Yeah.
So, and then these guys are saying, well, we wanted to play in it. Well, but you knew at the start.
But they still can.
Well, if you're a member. If you're a member.
You can see you're paying the fines and,
Well, you try. I know for a fact that John Ram and Tyrrell Hatton will be desperate to still play the Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
So all they have to do is pay their fines. The guys that are... You go down to South Africa and you play with Brandon Grace and Louis Oosthuizen, Charles Schwartzel, Dean Burmeister. You know, they've paid their fines. They still play in all these events. No, there's no hassle at all with them coming back to play. Not even a peep out of anybody from us guys, because we all realise why they went. Some people done it properly and said, listen, thanks very much for everything. And then some people have been a bit more vocal. And it's the guys that are vocal that I think's bringing the image
cause
down.
a bit of bad feeling.
They're causing a bit of bad blood. You know, and it's just trying to get America. Do the Americans want to join? They love playing in their own country. They're playing for 20 million. I think that's why the negotiations are probably slowing up.
Well, what I hear is, you know, unofficially, is that the PGA Tour is the problem. They won't compromise on just about anything in the midst of all this because they're used to being what they are or were, and they want to maintain that. Well, that's unrealistic if there's going to be a whole new, brave new world emerge from this. It's going to have to change.
I think something's going to change. Yeah. Something has to change. Is there going to be what Greg Norman wanted all these days? Is there going to be a...
Well, that's the ideal. A world tour.
Like the Formula One.
Yeah.
They just basically roll in, play a tournament. But do the top American guys want to go and play in Australia and China?
Well, they should want to go and play Royal Melbourne that you mentioned earlier.
Oh, amazing. I mean, Hong Kong Golf Club, brilliant. Yeah. You know, there's places where all the Formula Ones go to. Singapore, great golf courses over there. The Middle East, the Saudis, you know, people thought it was just going to be a flash in the pan, LIV, but it's definitely not.
Yeah.
They're there to kind of stay. And I think, you know, we've been in Asia as long as I can remember. Being on tour, we've always went to Asia.
Yeah.
So it's natural for us to try, and we've always been associated with other groups, the Sunshine Tour, Australia, China, you know, we're going to Korea now, we're in sort of affiliates with these tours as well. So now we're affiliated with America with the 10. So why would we not join the LIV? It makes sense for me to all get together and just go, right, this is what's happening. There's still going to be their own tours. They want to have their team matches and just find out a way how to play how to give them their same format.
Ideally, it would evolve into something like the football. You have 3 or 4 divisions, and you work, you know, promotion and relegation, and you work your way up or down, and you know.
I mean, even look at that. That's changing next year. The Champions League structure. Aye. So there's always these things happen all the time. I just hope it happens quick, because there is still the guys are not paying their fines and people back paying their fine, and you know, I don't even know who wins LIV. I wouldn't know who won it. You know, I don't know.
I'm the same.
I don't know if John Rahm's winning every week or if Dustin Johnston's winning every week or whatever. I don't really.
There was one finish yesterday and I can't remember who won it. So that tells you something.
I couldn't even tell you where they're playing.
Yeah, it was Houston.
Was it Houston? Right. I don't follow it at all. I look at the Challenge Tour to see how a couple of my pals are playing, and I watched yesterday when Callum Hill was, you know,
that was something, by the way, wasn't it? The Soderbergh's collapse.
Yeah, I didn't see that happening. He's been playing phenomenal all year.
Yeah, good player.
Well, brilliant player, but it just shows you it's tough to go over the line.
Yeah, indeed. Anyway, before we finish, I want to touch on a couple of things. You touched on captaincy there. You've done a wee bit of that yourself. Talk to me about that in Junior Ryder Cup and whatnot.
I loved it. It was absolutely brilliant. You know, as I was saying, America wasn't a big thing for me, and winning majors, you know, Paul Lawrie says he always used to imagine on the putting green winning the Open. Mine was to play in the Ryder Cup. Just because Eric Brown at Bathgate, the captain, Uncle Bernard was there at Bathgate. So the Ryder Cup for me is the holy grail.
What was your experience like as a player before?
It was brilliant, amazing. I mean, it's the toughest week of your life. It's so intense and it's the toughest, best, worst, everything. You go through every emotion every day. You know, and everything's sort of regimental. You've got this, you're doing that there, you're eating there. But it's brilliant, and it was something I'm so proud of to have played in it.
Paul McGinley's been on this podcast, and he still feels a wee bit guilty about you, I think. He said he made a mistake with you.
He put me out with Poulter, which he shouldn't have done.
Yeah, that was it.
You know, I didn't know him at all very well. And I was pally with Jamie Donaldson, and I played with Rory in Westwood in practice and stuff, so I thought I was going to be playing with the guys. So it was a bit left field, but at least it doesn't matter, we won.
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
Yeah, and you played well in the singles.
I did.
Although you lost. Yeah.
But the thing with that is, I played Mickelson, and going what happened after it when he went in and completely tore strips off Tom Watson.
Well, that's still the most amazing press conference.
But he couldn't have done that if I beat him.
Yeah,
because Tom would have said, "Well, you got beat. What are you talking about?"
Good point.
So he was extra. I played my heart out.
Yeah,
and Phil just he hold a. I was 2 up, and he hold a putt at one of the holes, a big 30-footer, and then he had chucked a couple of birdies at me, and that was it. It was like, how did that happen? He hit 2 shots stone dead.
Yeah,
and is he probably one of the second best players that's ever been as well, behind Ernie Els and.
Yeah.
Well, when Tiger was there,
it was him or Ernie. There was
him or Ernie that won their 5 other majors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When Tiger was, so they would have been, if Tiger wasn't there, they'd have won probably the same as him. Mm-hmm. But Mickelson was, and I used what Paul was brilliant. So I used what Paul used with us, with the kids,
right?
Pretty much. I put my own slant on it, but and Paul's thing was all about, leave a legacy for the next team.
Right. Yeah.
And on the big picture, we're still getting beat by America on the grand scheme of things. Mm-hmm. And it was the same with my Ryder Cup with the juniors. America had won the last 6. I don't think Europe had beat them since it was like early 2000s. Mm-hmm. So I just said to them, same thing. Let's claw this back and leave the legacy for the next team.
Yeah.
And they won. I mean, the kids were brilliant. They played so well.
Yeah. Your name was mentioned as a possible Walker Cup captain as well. Is that something you could see yourself doing?
I would love to do that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would. I know Dean Robertson's doing it. A good pal of mine's doing it this year. It is this year, isn't it?
It's next year.
Next year. He's doing the one in
America. He'll do 2.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Dean's brilliant. It'll be something he'll take up really well. I think it should be, with Katrina Matthew now doing the ladies. And
well, they basically run out of folk that would lifetime amateurs.
I just think it's quite nice to give us a chance to do it. I think a lot of they maybe didn't want to ask in case they got rejected.
Well, there was always.
I think it's a huge honour.
It was a snobbery thing.
I think it's a huge honour. I would love to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm doing the Ryder Cup in 25 at Bethpage. Again, I'm doing the captaincy again.
Right. It's
not getting announced till June, but I've signed the contract. And it's the same format, which for the kids is unreal. Mm-hmm. Playing Bethpage on the Thursday before the Ryder Cup, all the stands up.
Yeah.
It's just...
Yeah. I'm a bit worried about that Ryder Cup, by the way. That crowd's going to could be tough.
I think the crowds are tough. I've never been to an away one, so I don't know what they're like, but I've heard horror stories.
Not New York. Oof. I'm concerned it could get out of hand.
You think?
Aye, definitely. Yeah.
That's what you don't want.
No, I mean, it's already borderline. A couple of times in America, it's been Brookline with Monty and Hazeltine was bad, and I don't get it, but it's just a game of golf.
I think it's more than that, though.
Well, it is, but people make it more. Basically, it is just a game.
It is. I know, but when it happens every 2 years, and just the history, Europe's playing. We're playing well. We're on fire, really. The last 25, the last 30 years, we've done amazing.
Yeah.
But it's always tough to go. Luke Donald, I heard his press conference, and he's by under no means. I know how tough it is to win away.
Yeah.
But he's got some record as a player as well. I think they've done a great job with getting Luke on and getting it on early, telling them early, so he can. Get on with it and pick his own. Yeah, he was over with Dodo Molinari there a couple of weeks back, having a look round and seeing what they're going to, what plan they're putting into place, and Eddie's massive on the stats. And
it's quite sophisticated now, isn't it?
Jeez, I don't
way over my head.
I don't really understand it.
No, I know,
but it obviously works though.
Aye, yeah.
So it's brilliant. I loved it with the kids and. One of the young kids, young Conor Graham, he actually won one of my foundation events when he was 10 years old.
That was my last question, was your foundation, which is, you've taken on like Paul Laurie has. Tell the world, what that's...
It was actually through having meals with Paul and seeing... He started one when he won the Open. And, just hearing what he got out of it. You have to put a lot in. But just the how proud he was of his foundation. And it was him that said to me, so I started mine in 2012. It's, some golf courses you've got to be 10 to join. And I think you might have lost kids by then. Mm-hmm. So it's all about participation, what we do. And I try and go into schools, primary 5 and 6, 7, and take them out of school. You know, we've got great people who give us minibuses and all these sponsors that help us. And it costs the school nothing. So we'll take kids out an 8-week block and they get one-to-one tuition, PGA tuition to start with. And the thing that I think how that works better now as well is we've got the follow-up. We tried to do it back in the day. Mm-hmm. We give everybody a shot of golf, but there was no follow-up. Yeah. It was, what do I do now? I quite like that. What do I do now? Yeah. Well, perfect. I come to me. I've got a flag event.
You need a pathway. Yeah.
I don't want a kid to have an excuse not to try golf. I've no clubs. We've got clubs. I've no shoes. We've got shoes. Balls and that. It costs money. No, it doesn't. You just come along and you get proper coaching. Mm-hmm. You know, I've been blessed to go around the world and do something I love, and I want to give back. I think you've got to give back. So I didn't want an excuse. So if they like it at the school level, by all means come along. I'll have an event where it's a little flag event. So you get 36 shots and then you put the flag in the ground.
It's a great idea, that.
You can only 3-putt. You can only take 2 at a bunker, then you just get to put it out.
Right.
So the kids get personal best. Their personal best might be, I've got to the 6th fairway one day and I've got to the 7th green. Mm-hmm. So that's an improvement.
Yeah.
And once they can play the 9 holes with the flag in their hand, that's when we move them on to 9-hole stroke play.
Right.
And then it's just natural progression. I want them to go and then join a golf club. You know, sometimes we'll give out memberships as prizes for people that can't, if they can't afford it, or just to give that, just to boost that junior section at a certain club that we go to. And then I put under 12 championships, 3 rounds. We play at Gallacher, brilliant little golf course, 12-hole course in Edinburgh, and I've got Wagger events now, 5 Wagger events for the kids that are at elite, well, not elite level, at a good standard. Open events. You get kids coming up from England and all over to play in them, you know, and that's, so I've kind of covered all bases there. I'm getting people in, trying to get them into golf courses to join. That keeps the cycle of golf going, and then try and help the kids. We do a great mentoring program as well, where not only pros, Bob, Callum, Grant Forrest, a lot of these other guys give back, which is magic to young kids that are thinking of maybe going to America.
Right, yeah.
What should I do? I'm at this level. Well, this is what I done. Louise Duncan, she looks after some of the young girls. You know, she went to Stirling, went through a different route, and then we do the older kids mentor the younger kids as well. They'll take 3 younger kids out for a game. So they're giving back already at a young age.
Well, you've got a lot going on.
Well, Scott Knowles and Stuart Johnson, who are lifelong friends of mine, and we played with them for Scotland and for the county. They do a brilliant job running it. And we've got so many volunteers that it couldn't happen. My wife does the accounts. And, we've got a board that we look after, and it's more, we get donations and we have dinners to try and raise money for it. But when you see, you know, little Connor, he won under 12s at 10 years old at Gallacher and played. I'd watched him play all the way through. So for him to play in the Junior Ryder Cup was
and the Walker Cup.
And the Walker Cup, at such a young age. And watch him play, and, you know, you felt, if I've managed to help at any stage, even a little bit.
Yeah. Well, somebody
by putting on events for them, and maybe he got the bug then, or...
somebody like that's important as well, because the younger ones say, oh, I quite fancy doing that, you know.
Well, that's...
You need a star, if you like.
I don't go out. I didn't set it out, though, to make stars.
But if you do it right...
But if you do it right, there's a chance that might happen.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of kids that go to America, and, you know, a girl, Caris Irvin, who, you know, she went into the media side, works for the RNA and stuff. So, and Iona Stephen was helping her. So there's so many different bits of golf if they want to play, if they want to be greenkeepers or PGA pros.
Right for Golf Digest.
Right for Golf Digest, exactly. There you go. But that's the thing, though. It's golf, throughout golf, that's what happens. You know, there's different pathways, there's different levels of enjoyment. I just want kids to try it. If they like it, I can give them a pathway to find their own, what they want to do.
Stephen, you've got a lot going on, it sounds like, and a lot to look forward to still.
It is.
What's the big thing? If I came back and did this again 5 years from now, where would you like to? That's a final question.
I'd have thought I'd definitely want to win in the seniors. I'd love to try and win the Senior British Open. I think that's probably my best chance, going by your stats there as well.
Yes.
But I just want to keep improving, believe it or not. I want to, if I get to the level where I can't improve, I'll probably just hang the boots up. Mm-hmm. I want to still improve. I want to work hard. I want something to work hard for.
Well, that's admirable at your age, because that's the hardest part, I think, is maintaining the desire.
I don't work as hard as I should, because I've not been playing that well, right. and I don't like it. But now I've got a fresh impetus. I'm hitting the ball really good now, but I just need to get the wedges closer and work like mad on my short game. And I think that's always always the little bit that goes, if you know what I mean.
You've got a big incentive to, you've got a thing to look forward to as well.
I want to try and get on the American Seniors Tour. That's number one goal. Well, number one goal is actually keep my card in America, in Britain. I'm not doing that hot, but I've got 15 events, and I know how quickly things can turn in this game.
Yeah.
You're never far away. You think you are, but you're never far away at all. It's 1 week, like you say. You get the putter hot for 1 week. You get a few breaks, and before you know it, you're back up there. But I want to just stay fit, get ready for America, get ready to give a go anyway. Whether I'm on this tour or on what tour, it doesn't matter. My focus will be to be ready to compete in the tour school, and then see what happens from there.
Perfect way to finish. Stephen Gallacher, thanks very much for your time.
Pleasure.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, John.
Well, it's not hard to see why Stephen Gallacher is so popular in Scotland. What a genuinely good bloke. The game is lucky to have him. Great career and giving back. Big thanks, as always, to Stephen, and also to Huggy for taking the time and effort to record that interview. Now, normally at this point, I have a little snippet from our next episode, and that's when I reveal who the guest is going to be. But there's no snippet this week, because I haven't yet recorded the interview. Now, assuming all goes to plan, our next guest will be Ryan French, also known as Monday Q Info, or A Case of the Golf on Twitter if you lurk in those spheres. If you are, you're probably aware of him, but if you're not, make sure to come back and hear his remarkable and life-changing story. That's a focus on underdogs, next time on The Thing About Golf.